Hello, and welcome to my Wheels of Steel story time. The year is 2015, and Robin Mathena is in her apartment getting ready to do her most favorite thing in the world, which is to read a good book. Currently, she is reading a book about fairies and vampires and werewolves. She also has her laptop open and is open to a YouTube playlist where she is listening to her favorite music: Lauryn Hill, D'Angelo, Erykah Badu. Robin is sitting here just chilling before it's time for her to go to work. Things haven't been going very easy for Robin since she had to move out of her parents' home. She had to move out of her parents' home because after her father passed away, it became impossible to live with her mother. Not that she doesn't love her mother, but she's very overbearing. Robin didn't realize how difficult it would be to make ends meet. She works at a restaurant and she's trying to manage her apartment and a car payment, utilities, insurance. It's just not working. She has two ways out. She can either move back in with her mother or she can use the college fund that they created for her, but she's unwilling to do either. Right now, she's just going to relax and listen to music. Robin works 6 days a week at a local fast food restaurant. The pay is terrible. The work is really hard. Her only off day is Sundays, and Sundays is the day that she spends with her mother. But even though they have a bad relationship, she is crazy about her mom. Her mom is crazy about her. There's just this whole dynamic of control. But it doesn't matter because Robin needs this job. She just paid her car note, and she has a very expensive car note because it was a gift from her father. So she cannot get rid of the car. She has a very small apartment, but she can't do everything on that little check that she gets from the restaurant. So she works as many hours as she can, and she knows she's going to have to go to her mom and ask for a loan, a small loan, but it doesn't matter how small it is. Her mother is going to light into her about her bad decisions. Robin, if you went to college, you know you wouldn't be struggling right now. There's a big fat college fund waiting for you. Why won't you just go to college, get a better paying job? Well, Robin can't do that. She despises the idea of college. She has her reasons, but she can't really explain that to her mother. Her mother would never understand. Her mother is a successful accountant who happens to have a daughter who's so shy she can't stand up for herself. So at the end of the night, Robin sees her coworker rushing to count her till and cursing under her breath. And Robin's like, "What's wrong?" And she said, "I got to get out of here, girl. I'm going to be late for my second job, and I can't be late for my second job." And Robin is like, "Oh, I didn't know you were working two jobs, but how are you able to do that? I thought you had three kids. Girl, this job is hard enough." And the girl says, "Oh no, my second job is as a home health care aide. And that job is easy peasy, girl. Do you want to know what I do all night long as a home health care aide?" And Robin just looks at her quietly and says, "Do you wipe the butts of old people?" Her friend just laughs at her. "No," she said, "what I do all night long is sleep." "That's right, girl. I sleep and I make good money doing it. When you're a home health care aide at night, there ain't nothing to do. Your customers are asleep. Look, girl, I got a dash, but if you are interested, I will put a good word in for you because I know they're hiring. And keep in mind, Robin, they will pay you twice as much as you're making right now." Think about it, girl. Robin was thinking about it. "Girl, I can't do that. I can't be a home health care nurse. I don't know anything about nursing. I don't know anything about taking care of people." You don't gotta know anything about taking care of people. You only gotta know about keeping a schedule, dispensing some medicine, and then taking a nap. How hard is that? It did stay on Robin's mind, and later that night, before it was time to close, she got a phone call from Linda, and Linda said, Hey, Robin, guess what I'm doing? And Robin thought about it and said, Are you changing an old man's diaper? And her friend laughed at her. No, I am sitting here eating Chinese food, watching my client's big screen television set, and I'm getting paid to do it. And I'm getting paid a lot of money to do it. Robin, all I had to do was give him medicine in the middle of the night, and then later I'm going to give him medicine when he wakes up, and then I go home for the next person to come in and take my place. All right, you convinced me. I'm interested. Give me the information. Linda gave her the name and the phone number of her supervisor and told her to call him the next morning. The next day, Robin did just that, and after a brief phone conversation, the supervisor asked Robin to come in for a quick interview. She lightly tapped on the door, dressed in a skirt that she had only worn to church and a simple sweater. Pinnacle Healthcare Providers was the name of the company. She nervously wiped the palms of her hands down the front of her skirt. She had never been comfortable with interviews. How was this happening so fast? A middle-aged man came into the office and offered her his hand. He was tall, silver-haired, and had a smile like a television evangelist. Hi, I'm Ben Kennedy, one of the managers here, and you are Robin Medina? How old are you, Robin? Oh, I'm 21. Robin was aware that her round face and relatively short stature made her look a lot younger. Ben spent a few minutes asking her about previous experience, criminal history, her available hours, and then had her put in a brief application and disclosure form. He seemed rushed but nice, and less than half an hour later, she was back in her car. She drove home, confused but excited. That night, while Robin was at work, her cell phone rang. She was kind of surprised. Nobody ever called her. Maybe Mom, but Mom knew not to call her while she was at work. She snuck away to answer the phone. Hello, this is Robin. How can I help you? Robin, this is Ben from Pinnacle Healthcare Providers. Oh, hi. How are you, Mr. Kennedy? No, you don't have to call me Mr. Kennedy. I'm just Ben. Look, Robin, we have an emergency and we could use your help. Are you able to come in tonight? Did he just say come in tonight? Ben, did you say come in tonight? Yes, and I'm aware that it's very short notice, but we have an emergency. One of our employees got sick. But Ben, I'm at work right now. I can't, no, don't worry about it. We're talking about later tonight, about 1 a.m. You're not going to be working at that restaurant until 1 a.m., are you? Well, no. Well, are you able to come in? Look, we'll only need you for about 4 hours, and it's going to pay $75. That's $75 for 4 hours of work. Can you do it, Robin? I was thinking that I was going to get some type of training, maybe some lessons. Oh, don't worry about that, Robin. The girl that you're going to be relieving is going to be able to stay, and she is going to show you everything that you need to know. And it's not hard work at all. I mean, it's just overnight work, so $75 for 4 hours of work. I just need to know if you can do it, Robin. $75 for just 4 hours of work? That was hard to turn down, especially when she dreaded the idea of having to borrow money from her mother. 4 hours of work, $75? That's one bill she could pay off. Okay, Ben, I can do it. Great, he said quickly. Do you have something to write with? I need you to go to this address. He gave her the address and she keyed it into her cell phone. Okay, Robin, don't let me down. I won't, sir. Good. Once you get there, call me to check in. Okay. Robin hung up the phone, a nervous wreck. Was she ready for something like this? Robin hurried home to change out of her uniform. She then did a quick GPS search for Miss Babcock's home residence. Mrs. Babcock lived in an upscale portion of Cincinnati in an area called Indian Hill. To Robin, her house was so beautiful, it looked like a gingerbread house. Then she remembered it was 5 minutes to 1, so she hurried out of the car and dashed up to the house where she rang the doorbell. God, man, why'd you ring the doorbell? Are you trying to wake her up? Robin's face felt hot. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking. The woman looked at her and then smiled. Don't worry about it. Come on in. My name is Jody. Hi, Jody. I'm Robin. So, Robin, at night, until you get your key, just knock on the door, okay? Okay, Robin said. She followed Jody inside and looked around. It was a very nice house, just like the outside, even if it was decorated in florals and there was plastic on the sofas. Look, I need to get going, so let me show you the ropes. She led Robin into a very nice kitchen and then opened a cabinet. Be sure to put these medicines back in the exact same spot every night, okay? Okay, Robin said. She takes 14 pills a day. The woman picked up 3 bottles. She needs 2 of these every 4 hours. Wake her up at 3 a.m. to give them to her. The woman picked up another bottle. She needs 1 of these with a glass of orange juice. The orange juice has her other medicine, so only give her half a glass. Give her the insulin injection then. Insulin injection? I've never given anyone an injection. The woman gave her a long look. Are you squeamish? No, not really, but it's okay. The woman moved to the refrigerator. It's already pre-measured. Just pinch her flesh and stick. First swab it with an alcohol pad, which is on her bedside table, and then toss the needle in the dispenser in the bathroom. Easy, okay? No, not okay. Robin's hands felt sweaty, and her stomach began to twist into knots. She didn't want to give anyone a shot. She didn't want to stick anyone with a needle. Jody chuckled. Millions of people give themselves insulin shots each day. If they can do it to themselves, then you can do it to someone else. Now, I need to get going, so if you're going to write any of this down, then you better do it. Robin silently repeated the information as she jotted it down on her notepad. You'll be okay. Call Pinnacle if you have any problems. Someone is there morning, noon, and night. Robin sighed. Okay. Look, I gotta go. I have kids and I need to pick them up from my mom's so that I can get some sleep before it's time to get them up in the morning for school. It was 1:30. Robin suddenly thought about something other than her own confusion. Yeah, you go on. I'll be okay. The woman pulled out her cell phone. Ben, yeah, I got her trained and I'm heading out now. Yeah, she got here at 1. Oops, she forgot to call. I'll tell her. Jody turned to her as she gathered up her things. Ben's going to need you to work until 7, but he'll give you $125. Write down in the log when you give her medicine and check the log for the schedule. What log? I didn't tell you about the log? Shit, I'm sorry. It's on the refrigerator. Initial everything you do. I gotta go. Everything will be okay. You take care, Chica. Then Jody was gone. Robin closed and locked the door. She turned slowly into the room. It was just 1 day ago that she'd even heard of this job, and here she was looking after a senior citizen that needed a boatload of care. She knew that she'd been suckered, but it still needed to be done. She pulled some of the pamphlets from her purse that Ben had given her, and she sat down on the plastic-covered couch and began reading. She still wasn't comfortable that the woman had told her everything, but she would be gone in a few hours, and she'd tell Ben that he could take this job and shove it. At 3 o'clock, Robin stood stiffly. She had been entirely too anxious to read the book that she had brought, or to even relax, lest she fall asleep and miss administering the medicine. She went to the kitchen and gathered the pills that the woman had pointed out. Then she checked the refrigerator for the schedule just in case she hadn't been told everything necessary. One medicine she couldn't find until she remembered that it was probably the one that was hidden in the orange juice. She went to the cabinet for a glass and hesitated. She had said half a glass, but did she mean half a cup of juice? Robin measured it carefully into a glass and then carried the items into the darkened bedroom. She stood quietly over the woman's slight form. She was pale, wrinkled, and had strikingly white hair done up in a single braid. Dear God, what was she, 100 years old? Ma'am? Gently she placed her hand on the woman's shoulder. Excuse me, ma'am? After a few moments of this, the woman finally opened her watery eyes and looked in Robin's general direction, although she didn't seem to be focused. I'm Robin. It's time for your medicine. Can you sit up? The woman closed her eyes and went right back to sleep. Uh-oh. She wasn't sure what to do. She gently shook the woman's frail shoulder again until her eyes again opened, and this time the woman muttered sleepily. Robin slipped the first pill into the woman's mouth, terrified that she would choke on it, and then she held a glass of the orange juice up to her lips. But the lady seemed to know what to do, and she placed her hand on the glass and expertly swallowed the first pill, even though she was still partially asleep. The orange juice was gone, and there was still more pills to take, but Robin saw a glass of water and gave her that, even though it was tepid. With that over, came the hardest task, the injection. She found the alcohol swabs and lifted the bed covers and hiked up the woman's gown. Her leg was so thin that she didn't want to pinch it for fear of injuring her. Carefully, she gathered her flesh and then used her teeth to uncap the syringe. Robin squinted her eyes and silently counted to 3. Then she quickly stabbed the gathered flesh and waited for the woman to jump and yell. She barely moved, and Robin quickly depressed the syringe. When that was over, Robin could finally breathe. She helped the lady lay back down and then got her tucked in. It had taken her half an hour to give the older woman the pills and the injection. She marked the log, replaced the pills, and then sank down into the plastic-covered couch. She had made that harder than it needed to be, and now that it was over, fatigue overwhelmed her. She had worked hard at the restaurant and did a lot of ripping and running to interview in order to put in her application. Her eyes drooped and she yawned, and despite the fact that the plastic on the couch squeaked and caused her to slide around, before she knew it, Robin had fallen asleep. Help me! Robin lurched awake and then jumped off the couch as if it was on fire. She ran into the bedroom only to see Mrs. Babcock halfway out of bed. Her machinery was beeping loudly and flashing red. Oh my God. She placed her hand on Mrs. Babcock's shoulders. You shouldn't be getting up, ma'am. Please, let me help you. The woman slapped her hand away. Do you want me to pee myself? Oh, okay. Once she made sure that Mrs. Babcock wasn't going to fall and break a hip, she rushed to the machine and tried to remember how to stop the red light from blinking and buzzing. Hit the top button, the woman yelled weakly. Then the bottom one twice. She coughed and Robin did as instructed. After that was taken care of, Robin hurried to get Mrs. Babcock to the bathroom, and as she tried to assist her to the toilet, the old lady brushed her aside and then lowered herself to the toilet with the help of the handrail. Robin listened as she peed for damn near 5 minutes. Her stream would stop for a few moments, and then Robin thought she was done and would start back again. The white-haired woman gave her a long look. Is this your first caregiver job? Is it that easy to tell? The woman smiled. Where's the other girl? I guess she quit. That girl didn't do anything right. Mrs. Babcock used a wad of toilet paper to clean herself, and then she got up and washed her hands. When Robin tried to give her a hand back to bed, she brushed her aside. Well, help me get dressed. Robin glanced at the clock on the bedside table. It was just after 6 a.m. Okay, sure. She moved about the woman's room, pulling out underwear, clothes, socks. She helped her put on a huge bra. Robin wasn't squeamish, but it wasn't pleasant. Next came granny panties, and then a comfortable dress. Mrs. Babcock asked her to call her Miss Lucille because everyone called her Miss Lucille, but she never asked Robin what her name was. Miss Lucille talked about everything. She talked about her son, who was a doctor, and her grandchildren. She talked about some women who were in a group with her. She talked so much that she was almost out of breath. 7 o'clock came and went, and Robin's replacement still hadn't arrived. She led Miss Lucille to the living room and set her in a comfortable chair. "I guess it's time for your medicine." Miss Lucille turned on the television set to watch an evangelist, paying her very little attention. Robin covered her mouth as she yawned again and checked the schedule. Miss Lucille needed to take 4 pills this morning. But Lucille wouldn't hold out her hand for the pills. She looked at Robin and scowled. "I can't take these on an empty stomach. I need food." "Oh, okay. What would you like?" "Coffee, toast, no butter. Soft-boiled eggs, 2. Really tired now, Robin headed back to the kitchen and started coffee. She dug through the refrigerator for the carton of eggs and set 2 to boil. She checked the clock again. 7:30. Damn, where was that replacement? After Robin served Miss Lucille her breakfast, the older woman sent her outside for the morning paper. Robin was yawning as she returned with the paper, and she watched as Miss Lucille slowly ate her meal and read. It was nearly 8 a.m. before Miss Lucille finally finished her breakfast and was able to take her medicine. By 8:15, Robin had had enough. She called Ben's number, but didn't get an answer. Of course not. He was probably sleeping. At a few minutes after 9, the replacement finally strolled in. Robin was so mad that at first she couldn't speak. "Hey there, who are you?" It was an older woman about 40. "Robin, and you're late," she spoke, uncharacteristically rude. The woman scowled. 5 minutes, sorry. Try 2 hours. You were supposed to be here at 7. No. The woman put her stuff in the kitchen. I always start at 9. Damn it, Robin whispered. Ben was such a liar. Miss Lucille smirked. She had known all along. Well, this was some bull crap. Ben had tricked her with a promise of a half a shift. Robin went into the kitchen where the replacement was looking at the log. "Hey, I'm sorry for being a bitch. Ben told me I'd be working for just 4 hours. Oh, look, this is a good job, but don't let Ben push you around. Get a shift and stick with it. If he asks you to fill in for someone, then do it at your own risk, but ask for a shitload of money. He'll have no choice but to give it to you." The woman held out her hand. "I'm Marissa." "I'm Robin. How much do I get paid for a full shift?" Marissa gave her a curious look. "Honey, you get paid by the hour. Don't let him try pulling that I'll give you X amount of money for X amount of hours worked. We get paid $18.50 an hour and $23.50 for overtime, and they don't take out taxes." She gave her a sly look. "It's like getting paid under the table. Your shift is no longer than 8 hours, and after that," Robin tried to do the calculation in her head. Marissa came up with the figure before she could. "You get paid $148 a day. That's not bad money, because any other place would be taking a boatload of taxes out on you, especially for people like me that don't have any kids." $148 a day was good money. Of course, Robin would take out the necessary taxes. Her accountant mother had taught her well. Was she really considering working 2 jobs? The idea was daunting, but being able to afford her insurance and monthly car payment would be wonderful. It's not a bad job if you make it work for you, and not the other way around. And there is always overtime. Also, go over and pick up your money. Don't let him mail it out to you. It will take him days to put it in the mail. Robin nodded, thankful for the information, but she was simply too tired to pick up her money, and instead she drove straight home. She collapsed into bed after kicking off her shoes, still fully clothed, and was asleep within seconds.
Have your shit rearranged. The